Fifth round. And Purdue's Michelle Cabassol, a redshirt freshman, to dive first.
Michelle Cabassol in fourth place going into the second to last round dive. A back 2.5 somersault. You know, one of the things that Michelle does so well is keep her head still on the takeoff. She keeps her chin still, doesn't look up too soon, and by virtue of keeping her head still like that, looking basically at the other end of the springboard, she seems to have a good sense of where she is in the air, easier than if she moved her head.
6.8s and a 67.20 total. Fifth round dive for Jodie McGroarty, fifth-year senior. She was third on the 1 meter.
And she's in third place right now with her back 2.5 somersault, tuck position 2.8. You cancel out the too high and the too low judges' scores, and you multiply the middle 3 times the degree of difficulty. This dive slides past vertical just slightly on the entry. Doesn't quite get all the way straightened out with a straight body. There's a little bit of arch right there going in the water.
And her scores a 49 total on that dive for the fifth-year senior. Hailey Casper from Arizona State, a junior from Alberta, Canada.
And she has a great opportunity here to increase her lead over third place Jodie McGroarty from Tennessee, because she has a high degree of difficulty dive at 3.0. She was more than 10 points ahead going into this second to last round. That is of third place. She wasn't winning, she was in second. Nice. What a good back 2.5 somersault pike. That will definitely validate her being in the top 2 going into the last round. What a nice back 2.5 with straight legs, beautiful lines, toe point. That will increase her lead over third place.
The judges like it. Look at the 8.5s and 9 as well. 76.50 for Casper. Casey Matthews, her final dive of the fifth round, the senior from Purdue. All-American in the 09-10 season. Here she is, a chance to get a title here.
She's had a number of shoulder surgeries and has come back beautifully. This is the key to her contest right here, this forward 3.5 somersault. She needs 7s to stay in first place. And I think she's going to receive right at 7, 6.5, 7 maybe. The dive on the entry was what we would call a little bit heavy, a little splashy. She goes up in the air beautifully, but just might not receive above a 7 because of that entry. Her form just a little bit off there, so it's going to be a close contest going into the final round.
She does not get above that 7 number, 53.20 in her final dive, the fifth round. Back with the final round, the sixth round coming up from Indianapolis. The sixth and final round here, 3-meter final. Trey Bender, Cynthia Potter, as you look at Michelle Cabassol, the redshirt freshman from Purdue, with her final dive.
Michelle Cabassol in third place going into this final round. And she's very early on in the round, but she's been doing a very consistent job. Hasn't really missed any dives and hit a very good dive in round 5. This is a pretty takeoff, a reverse 2.5 somersault. She has really good visual spotting references, and she uses them well. Misses that entry just a little bit. You saw the splash come up. And everybody watches their dives on the TiVo or the DVR right after they do them.
56 points total Here's Tori Lamp, one of 2 Tennessee divers here. Her final dive in the 6th round, important for the team race with 2 volunteers. Here's the junior, 2-time SEC Diver of the Year.
Tori Lamp and her teammate, Jodie McGroarty, will score at least 23 points. They're going to receive more than that because Jodie McGroarty is in 4th place, even though Tori was in 8th. Going into this last round, that's a good reverse 1.5 with 2.5 twists. See if she can get out of that 8th place and score a couple more points for Tennessee. We know how critical each point is. This is quite a good dive, a better entry than we've seen on a couple of her other dives. Very nice twisting position, the legs and the feet together. Good last dive for Tori Lamp from Tennessee.
Just shy of 61 points as you see the totals.
She will be at least 7th, so she did climb up at least 1 spot.
And here's Jodie McGroarty, her final dive. 3rd on the 1 meter.
Oh, what a beautiful takeoff. She slightly misses the entry, just slightly, but she should get rewarded for the high jump, riding the springboard so beautifully. She's a senior at Tennessee, and look at that beautiful hurdle, the fabulous tuck. Just a little bit of flaw on the entry going into the water, but that should keep her definitely in the top 4.
Pride of Sheffield, England, with a 63 total on her final dive in the 6th round. Hailey Casper from Arizona State, the junior.
And she has a little mistake as she kicks out of this reverse 2.5, but she had about 4 points over Casey Matthews from Purdue, and Casey will come up soon in the competition. So it's going to come down to Casey Matthews' last dive to see if this woman, Hailey Casper from ASU, will win the NCAAs or not.
Is that total good enough? 54.60 for Casper. Here's Kelly Hendricks. She's from Schaumburg, Illinois, diving for Eastern Michigan.
Kelly's final dive in NCAA competition, she went from 6th to 4th in the previous round. Can she score 7.5s or above to put herself in a position to be in the top 3? And that is a beautifully performed back 2.5 somersault. The technique on this is so good. Her arms go over her head before she leaves the springboard, and that is what makes this dive so good in terms of preparation to go in the water. And yes, she does. She will be in the top 3. She won't be first.
Final dive, round 6, 3-meter competition. Casey Matthews in the hunt, the senior from Purdue.
That's right. It all comes down to this final dive. She was the top qualifier. That meant that she had more points out of the preliminaries than any other diver. And in order for her to win this contest, her last dive, she needs 7.5s. And there's the leader from Arizona State right now, Hailey Casper, watching Casey Matthews, the senior from Purdue. She needs 7.5s. There's your champion. She will receive more than 7.5s. This dive, an inward 2.5, is beautifully performed, especially the entry, the form on the kick out. Casey Matthews will win as a senior her first NCAA title, and it came down to that dive.
A big moment for Purdue, West Lafayette, Indiana, as she gets 8s, 3 9s, 67.50 for Casey Matthews, the champion in the 3-meter. Adam Soldati celebrating with her. So the results in the 3-meter diving, Casey Matthews beating out Hailey Casper with her 6th round dive. Kelly Hendricks of Eastern Michigan in 3rd place. Here's Rowdy with the winner from Purdue.
Casey, as Cynthia just said, it all came down to that last dive. Tell me a little bit about it and what was going through your mind.
Well, I wasn't paying attention throughout the whole competition, so I wasn't looking at scores. I was just thinking to execute my cues, think about what I do in practice, and do it in the meet.
You know, you've had a lot of setbacks in your career, especially from the injury standpoint. Tell me a little bit about the perseverance that you've had to go through.
Yeah, I've had to go through quite a bit in the last couple of years, but I fought my way back, and it feels great to just be here representing Purdue again and be able to compete, because this is what I love to do. So
it's a great way to go out as a senior. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The NCAA women